Hello everybody, this is Skydash from PMVtoday.com and I'm here to show you how to do something like this in After Effects. And of course that is so not real time, but it's still pretty cool, right? You can imagine it in 25 frames per second. It's based off the Sword Art Online death animation that you sometimes see, and it can be used in a bunch of different ways. I mean, it can be used as a transition for a scene. If you're good enough with a camera, you can actually focus on the triangles themselves. You can do just a whole lot of things. In PMV specifically, we have the option to work with a lot of good vectors, and so you can do exactly what I did there, or reverse the effect, or use it on one image and then bring the particles back together to form a different one. So there's a lot of room for creativity here. Now what you're going to need is After Effects CS5 or higher in either Trapcode Particular, or you can do it the free way with CC Particle World. You'll see on your screen where you need to go for the free part, but if you've got Particular, keep on watching. Okay, first thing we've got to do is set up our comp. I'm going to go standard HD settings. Let me get a new composition. HDV, yeah, that one. All right, I don't need 10 seconds. I can do it in 3. Sure, let's go with that. I'm going to call my comp for stuff, because that's what it's for, right? It's for stuff. Okay. Now let's go in and we're going to import our image that we want to use. And it can be whatever image you want. The good thing about this Trapcode particular way, is that the more complex the image is, it doesn't matter. Particular will handle it just the same, either way. All right. Now we're going to rename this for the sake of clarity, Magic Butt. There we go. Now we're going to duplicate that. We're going to bring in our effect here. It's called CC Light Sweep, which is 2 words, not 1. I made that mistake a million times before. We're going to rename this Magic Butt Light. Magic Butt Light Sweep. Sure, whatever. So 2 words. Anyway, we're going to take the width of it, tone that down. You want it to be just large enough to cover your particles appearing, because that's what it's going to really be hiding there. Sweep intensity, turn that sucker up to 500. That's as far as it'll go. I said 500, not 0. Thank you. Okay. And now edge intensity, yeah, whatever. You can use whatever you want for those. Light color should be white. The light reception should be cut out. That's important. And our direction, I'm going to go from top to bottom here, so I'll put in -90, which is sideways to most English-speaking people. Let's take that up a notch. Put the center where you want your little transition thing to start, or a little bit above it, you know. That way we can get some particles moving here early, if my Mac will ever load. Thank you. All right. We've got that right there. We click the stopwatch for the beginning. We're going to animate it going down, basically. That's what we're trying to do here. All right. Now we move that. Boom. Ta-da! And you'll see, like, magic happens. It's like, whoa. Now we have a very, very shiny sparkle. Okay, but we want her to disintegrate, right, as it goes along, because there has to be a price for such amazing fabulosity. So, we're going to go back to our original Magic Butt image, which is the only one that gives us that picture of Twilight Sparkle right now. And we're going to put a new mask on it. And this mask is what's going to make her disappear. We're going to open up the mask settings in here. Mask 1, yes, thank you very much. We're going to go to the beginning, click on our mask path, fast forward to the end or wherever. That is a good one. And we're going to drag that mask down so she's like disappeared. Oh no. Where'd she go? It's magic. It's actually friendship. Yeah, and make sure that your mask is in alignment with that little white bar. Mine is not, so I'm just going to slow it down a little bit and be like, whoa there. Hold your horses. You get it? Okay. Yeah, and that looks about good to me. Cool. What we need to do next is make a new comp, the same settings. You can go ahead and pre-comp this, actually. Go, boom, pre-compose. Call this one, I don't know. But we're going to move all attributes into there. Call this particle sweep. Cool. This will be particle sweep. We actually need to keep this layer in there, though, so we're going to copy and paste it. So it'll be like, now you have 2 of them in the same comp. So now you'll be like twice as cool as all your friends who are doing the same effect, because you've got like 2 and nobody will even know. It's fantastic. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's go on. Particle sweep. This is going to be what generates our particles, so we need Trapcode for that. And what we do is make a new solid and then add particular to it. Ew, that's an ugly shade of yellow. Wonderful. All right, After Effects gray. Yeah. What a fitting color. We're going to search in here for particular, not Trapcode particular, just particular. Took me forever to find, thanks to that. I'm going to just drag it on there, because we're cool. All right, emitter. First thing you're going to want to do, set this to something like 300. I don't know. Just a lot generally works. Unfortunately, that's not a numerical value, so it doesn't accept it as much as you'd think it should. Emission extras, we're going to put a little bit of pre-run, just a little bit, so it'll actually start shooting particles as it goes. Your particle, speaking of, let's go back to the beginning, is going to last forever. At least that's how I want my particles to last. So it'll be like 49 seconds. Whew, look at that. Particle type, this is important. Textured polygon. Yes. Thank you. All right. And that texture is actually going to be a layer that we have not created yet. I'm so sorry. Size, something like 50. You can add a little bit of size random in there too if you want. Opacity random, no. Is this opacity over life? Okay, that's good. Then you're going to want to go into physics. I want these particles to flow up because that's where I'm disintegrating from. So I'm going to go into gravity, change that to something crazy like -100. All right. And of course you can always do the other fancy things that they have in here, but I think that's simple enough for now. Let me see, was there something invisibility that I was missing? No. About rendering. Nope, we're good. Okay, so now we're going to make the actual particle itself. These are going to be triangles. So we're going to go new. Oh, right. We actually need to make a composition for this. So we're going to go into new composition. I'm going to change this to, whatchamacallit, triangle. Good. And this needs to go down to like 100 because it's going to be a sprite, right? Frame rate 25, yeah, that's good. Whatever. You only need 2 frames in this. Just about 2 frames. But I'm going to go in here. I'm going to say pin tool. Boom. That'll make me a shape layer. And I'm going to draw a little triangle. My art degree is really coming in handy here. You know, drawing triangles and stuff. Alright. So worth it. Alright. Now we've got that. Go back to whatchamacallit for stuff. Yeah, that's the one. Go into our project. Take this triangle. You can tell I had a couple of tries with this before. Put it in here. go back to effect controls for this dark gray solid, which is our Trapcode particular. Now, something else that we need to do, we're going to take this emitter type. Instead of point, we want it to be layer, because it's going to be based off that magic butt light sweep layer. So we go into our layer emitter, change that layer to magic butt light sweep. Thank you. There must be 3D. Well, screw you too. Where is that? Particle sweep. That's the one that I actually need. It has to be pre-composed for some reason. I don't know. But just make sure you pre-compose it. Now we need to select none because Trapcode's being a jerk. Oh, come on. And then particle sweep. There we go. Now, whenever that white thing appears, particles are going to be like flying out of it. Alrighty. And we need to change the particle sprite here, the textured polygon. Alright, we're going to take our layer, triangle. It's very self-explanatory. Alright, now you got triangles coming off of her, but they have no rotation. So add that. Make it look fancy, make it look realistic, you know. I trust that you guys know how to do that. Oh dear. Oh, put me some more on there. Come on. Give me like a billion. I want this rotation to be like really random. Alright. Good. Alright, so now that we've got our particles in here, it looks great and all, but we need something to give it a little sparkle. You get it? Sparkle because it's Twilight Sparkle, and it's because it's a joke. And all right, we're gonna go into Trapcode. What's it called? Starglow. Starglow. Yeah, there it is. All right, we're gonna drop that in on our particular layer. Whoo, shiny. All right, actually drop this particular generating solid here. I'm gonna put it below magic butt sweep. There we go. Beautiful. Heck, maybe even below magic butt. Why not? Also, you're gonna want to hide this little triangle thing. That way it doesn't show up in your comp. It'll still show up in particular though, as creating triangles, as you can see here. Now, streak length. We want to change that down to something reasonable, like 10. Cool. Because, yeah, they give you way too much of that to begin with. I'm going to use the Superstar preset for Twilight. I think the color matches nicely, wouldn't you say? Well, I can't exactly hear you. This is kind of pre-recorded. But, doesn't matter. We're going to take the Star Glow. We can copy and paste it onto Magic Butt Sweep. Paste. Alright, cool. Now it looks like all sorts of magic stuff is happening. You might want to increase the number of particles in this one. Looks like it can use that. But yeah, that's all for the particular way. Pretty simple. Alright, now this, really quick, is the free version, and it's not so bad, just a few more steps and tweaking here and there. It might not look as glowy or whatever you want it, but it'll work. It'll work. First thing, new composition. Going to do the same as I did last time. HDV, HDTV, 720/25. I'm going to take this about 3 seconds. That's good, that's good, that's good. Ooh, I should rename this because that is a terrible name. Put this compy comp. Compy comp. Good. Much more specific. Now, we need our image for which the effect is going to take place. You can also use any other type of footage. It does not have to be still. It just has to be, you know, stuff. Just has to be an image. Alright, so we got our yellow hippie horse here. Going to scale that down. And she's just singing her stupid hippie heart out. We're going to make her disappear real quick with this effect. Going to double that layer. Boom. Call this yellow hippie horse. Or no. We'll just call it Holy Hippie Light Batman. No. Alright. And with this one, this is how we're going to use that little shine that goes on there. The effect is called CC Light Sweep. There it is. Not to be confused with CC Light Wipe, which is, I'm pretty sure, a brand of bathroom towelettes or something. Alright. Width is going to be about 25. You just want it large enough to cover up the triangle particles that are going to appear. Sweep intensity, turn that sucker up to 500. That's as much as it'll go. It's like shing, so it's a single line. That's about it. You need this to be white and a cutout. That's important. Now you can do it in any direction. I'm going to go from top to bottom again. Why not? So we turn that to -90. So that's sideways. Beautiful. And we'll put this center position above where we want it to start. Where we want this animation to start. Then we'll click the stopwatch on the center. We'll go forward in time because we're time travelers and we can do that. Then we'll take this little doohickey, put it right down there to the end. And now if you were to scroll through this, you would see that it moves. Unfortunately, Macs are slow, and so it kind of just jumps around. Cool. Well, now that we've got that, all we really need to do is get our particles in here. And, oh yeah, I forgot. We need to make her disappear after a little light goes past. Ooh, and that is just being a bit too small. I'm going to increase that width. Oh, not that much. Jesus. 35 maybe. Alright. And then I'm going to take... Oh, thank you for auto-saving. Then I'm going to take this yellow hippie horse. Going to add a mask. It's my original image, by the way. Make sure you're doing that. And go into the mask settings here because we're going to animate that mask. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And all this so far is the same from the Trapcode version. I just wanted to make it so that you didn't have to switch back and forth. I'm like, this is the difference between Trapcode and not Trapcode. Yeah, for cheap losers, whatever. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a cheap loser. Alright. We're going to take this, now that we've keyframed it at the beginning, move it down to the ending. Oh, there's the ending. Hello, ending. Hello, Sky. How are you? I'm good. How are you? And that looks good. As long as it stays within the white part, doesn't go before that or it doesn't go after that, hey, it's all good to me. Alright. Next thing we're going to do is, now we're going to make the particles, right? Right. You agree, correct? Oh, yeah, of course you do. We're going to go into right-click, new, solid. That's a good one. All right. These are going to be our particles, so we go particles. Oops, forgot the C. It's a very important part. Yes, lowercase c, by the way. Yeah. Gray, nah. Let's make it something pretty. Like, dark gray. Perfect. Okay. That doesn't really matter. Then we're going to go and click on CC, particle world, once it appears. There it is. Howdy. I'm going to click and drag that onto the solid that we just made. Ooh, look at that. We're going to go ahead and change this birth rate to where we actually want it to start. And remember that it does have a little bit of delay. So, excuse me. We're going to want it to start where the white thing shows up, not immediately. So, in order to do that, you've got to change this to 0. Do a little bit before. Stopwatch. Then when that white thing appears, go on, change it to like, I usually use about 0.5 for this, I think. All right, let's go with that. Now it's not going to do anything initially. We got to set up all sorts of things. Your longevity, I'm going to put it at 4 just so it lasts the entire time. Producer, this is important. This is what you're going to have to do by hand animating. Your radius Z, first of all, should be something like 0. Nah, we'll give it a... Well, sure, 0. Why not? Radius Y, on the other hand, is definitely going to be 0. Radius X, that's going to be something that you adjust along the way. So I'm going to stopwatch that, stopwatch position Y, and stopwatch position X. If you're using a 3D object, I don't know how you're going to do that, but it's going to be a heck of a lot more complicated. You're going to have to adjust position Z and radius Z and all sorts of things. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And I implore you to try it, because that actually would kind of look cool. Now I think about it. All right, physics. Physics, you're going to want this to be explosive. Ooh, whoops. Better change that back. Explosive. 1 velocity. Sure, why not? Gravity, I'm going to put this at -1. Why not? That sounds fun, right? You're going to want to... Or no. Because we want resistance in it so that it looks like it's actually flying up against something, we're going to put the gravity at negative... I don't know, 0.8. All right. Then give our resistance a little bit. That way, it actually looks like it's flying up realistically. Everything's good there. Velocity and inherent velocity, you can play with that. Now your floor. For this one, we don't really need it, but if your particles seem to be getting in the way of your image, you would use that to obscure them, right? Your direction axis, gravity vector, all good, all good. Make sure that's y equals, yes, it is. Awesome. Now your particle, this is the important part. Particle type is going to be, where is it? Tri-polygon, because, you know, we're much too classy to say triangle. Texture, we don't want a texture on it. Sorry, that was the last one. Rotation speed, sure. Any axis, yeah, whatever. Birth size, death size, good. Size, very well. Actually, let's change that up a little bit because I want it to be a bit bigger. Something like that. Something like that. Keep it the same size. 50%, sure, why not? Max opacity, want that to be 100 because these are going to be like solid triangles, so we actually have to play with a lot of the settings here. Opacity map, it gives you this really weird map. I just go wee, make it as straight as possible. That's good. All right, close down this opacity map. Birth color, white. Death color, white. Go down to, I think that's it. Transfer mode is composite, that's important. And that's about it. Cool. So now what we're going to do is actually animate our producer, which is not the person who produces your video or produces your music. It's actually our particle producer. Crazy as it sounds. First things first, we're going to want to position it. My keyframes are at the beginning. Ooh, excuse me. My keyframes are at the beginning of where I want it to start. And because this has a little bit of a delay, I'm going to put it right on it. And by the time, you see by the time that white light sweep comes in, my particles have then started. It's wonderful timing. You might have to mess with that on your own a little bit to get it right. But, you know, explore, do some things. So as that starts, I'm going to want to keyframe things right here. So just to make sure that they've registered a keyframe on the frame that I'm on. I'm going to put it something like there. Put this right there so that it matches up, basically. You don't want particles appearing out of nowhere, and you don't want particles not appearing at all. So do what you got to do. You feel me? Then we're going to go somewhere about the middle here, I suppose. And now the preferred way actually to do it, I just remembered, is to go to the first and last and then fill in things in between. And I think that's pretty cool. So I'm going to go change that. See, if my Mac were faster, I wouldn't have to say so many ums and okays. And I would just be like, let's move on with this. Thank you. Thank you very much. So it's going to be at the end there. And at the point that it disappears, which is right about there, it's going to, again, take a little bit of a lag. You're going to want to adjust the birth rate. So you got that. Make sure it sets a keyframe right there. And then move like one frame ahead and kill it off.
It's 23 hours.
All right. Now we've got our birth rate gone. That means our particles should stop about that time. Good, good. And I mean, you can do it whatever way you want, but I just like them to stop like that. Okay, now one thing we're definitely going to have to do, I think that position vector is okay. It's all right. But you see, her hand goes out to the side there. And her face and stuff and head is a bit larger. So we're going to adjust the radius X. And you can see that little red line expanding. That's going to be pretty much where your particles can appear. It's going to be a little bit closer to that than that, sorry. Because they, I don't know, they decided they didn't want you getting too far out. Don't want you to be spacing out, man. All right, and just look, just eyeball it, really. That's all you've got to do. I'm going to go to my end here. Make sure things are nice and tidy. Change that radius X down to like 0.04. And then as it approaches the end, it's like, boom, she's gone. Hippie magic. Oh my god. Now we've got all that. Cool. We're going to head in to, well, I don't suppose we have to head into anything. We're going to change this so that the particles themselves are actually below the holy hippie light. Maybe even below the image itself, just to hide them. Yeah, sure, why not? Well, actually, I don't know. It's a thing of opinion, to be honest. We're going to put it in between our light sweep and our original image. Then we are going to take a little bit of glow, because in the first one I put Trapcode Star Glow, I believe it's called, but we don't have that because we're free, and that's awesome. Free of capitalism. So what we're going to do is glow, even though you probably already bought After Effects, so you're not completely free of capitalism, but whatever, man. Whatever floats your boat. We're going to put that on our particles, and we can't see anything. We should contact an eye doctor immediately. Glow radius, going to want to kick that up a notch, or 24. You know, change this to just horizontal or just vertical. Maybe inclusive. Just make it a really, a really apparent glow. I mean, that's what we're headed for. All right, you're going to want those to be the original colors because we're going to change that here. in just a second. Right after we duplicate our glow and change this to vertical. So now, see, if you wanted to do white, this would be good. But I don't want to do white triangles. I want to do, like, I don't know, green. Green would work good. Let's do that. And that's a little bit of an intense glow. Jeez. Take that down. Because dang, girl, we don't need all that. Alright. Where's my other glow? Take that down to like 59 too. I don't know what I was thinking. I apologize. I'm just not politically correct enough to consider other people might have some traumatic experience with glows. I don't know. I'm so sorry. We're gonna add a tint. We're gonna put that before both of our glows. Am I right? Now that'll change the actual color of your particles as soon as I change it here. Let's hippie green. There we go. And for this, you really only have to map white to that. That'll change the color of your particles. If you don't like that, you can go ahead and do what I do usually. And that would be just duplicating that layer and deleting the glow and tint effects off of the top one. Now I had to go back and add this because I'm an idiot and I went the roundabout way. Anyway, continue. Alright, and now we copy and paste this tint stuff. Go ahead and copy. And we're going to duplicate our holy hippie light. Same idea here. We're going to go in here and paste those effects that we copied. So it gives us that same looking thing. And as we scroll through, she disappears into triangles. You know, as all good hippies should. They become one with the wind, man. And all that. Well, radical. That's all for today. I think you get the effect. I think you get the point there. So check out pmvtoday.com for some cool stuff and awesome videos if you're interested. This is Skydash, signing off.